Does it ever baffle you why so many people in the comment sections of videos on social media seem to lick boots for billionaires, defend privatization, deny wrongdoing, or take the sides of systems that are literally hurting them and others? Yeah, me too. As an educated, empathetic advocate for others, I used to genuinely struggle to understand how some people will throw themselves in front of a metaphorical bullet to protect billionaires, corporations, or governments that wouldn't even cross the street to help them. But here's the thing. They're not doing it because they actually love the system. They're doing it because the alternative absolutely terrifies them. So let's break this down. A lot of this comes down to a psychological bias called the just world belief. The need to believe that the world is fair. People want to believe that good people get rewarded and bad people get punished. So when they see inequality, injustice, corruption, or exploitation, instead of confronting the reality that systems often reward power, not goodness, they're forced to do mental gymnastics. And they say things like, well, maybe those people deserved it. Or maybe they didn't work hard enough. Maybe the system is fine and they're the problem. Why? Because if the system is unfair, then anyone can suffer, even them. And that's a terrifying thing to accept. So they deny the problem instead. There's an entire field of research that explains this. It's called the system justification theory. It says people defend harmful systems because admitting the truth would create too much psychological discomfort. If I defend the system won't turn on me, they think. Or if I blame the oppressed, I can pretend the world is fair. It's not logic, it's a survival strategy. Now add identity. If someone grew up being taught that hard work always pays off, to respect authority, and to follow the rules and you'll be okay, then acknowledging systematic inequality doesn't just challenge those beliefs, it threatens their entire sense of self. If the system is rigged, what does that say about the choices they made? Or the suffering others had to endure? Or the people they ignored? Instead of updating their worldview, a lot of people just double down. Not because they're cruel, but because the truth feels like self-destruction. Now layer in cognitive dissonance, the discomfort you feel when the facts contradict your beliefs. If you spent your whole life believing the system is good, and then someone says, actually, it harms people just like you, your brain has two options. One, admit you were misled, or two, attack the messenger. Guess which one feels safer? Then there's aspirational alignment. People identify with billionaires because they hope they'll be one someday. They think, I'm not rich, but one day I might be. No, you won't. Statistically, no, you won't. Upward mobility is shrinking. Wages are stagnant. The wealth gap is historic. But people still cling to the fantasy because fantasy is all they have. If they admit the system is broken, they lose the dream they've been promised. So they defend the powerful and attack the vulnerable to protect the illusion that success is just one lucky breakaway. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. A lot of our beliefs about wealth, poverty, work ethic, and deservingness didn't come from personal experience. They were taught to us, repeated, marketed, normalized. For decades, people have been told public systems equal inefficiency, privatization equals freedom, billionaires are geniuses, poor people are lazy, corporations are job creators, protests are threats, inequality is natural. They grow up hearing these stories over and over, and it doesn't feel like propaganda to them. It feels like common sense. And that's not an accident. That's conditioning. When you put all this together, people defend harmful systems because it gives them a feeling of safety and protects their worldview and maintains their identity. It preserves the fantasy of upward mobility, and it shields them from the emotional pain of admitting the system doesn't care about them. They're not defending the system because it's good. They're defending it because they're afraid of what it means if it isn't. Oppressors don't survive because they're powerful. They survive because enough ordinary people defend them. Not because it's logical, not because it's moral, but because the truth feels too dangerous to look at. Oppressors don't need armies. They have the comment sections of social media videos. Peace out, and if you're not already following me, you should. It's going to be a ride.